All right, we are here behind the scenes. We just finished watching this phenomenal play, You Don't Know My Story. Miss Ann, tell us about your character and what did you do to get into character to be able to produce, because the acting was phenomenal.
Wow. Well, for one, Sandra is a real caring person, and a lot of people depend on her role, and she's very giving and kind of like a counselor. What I had to do was I looked at Sandra. I really got a revelation of her and what she meant to everyone, because everyone could just come and be themselves with her, and she gave them unconditional love, you know. And I looked at that, and then I looked at my own family, and I thought, you know what? I'm the person that everybody looks to and pulls on me. I'm their matriarch. So it was hard at first, but then I got the revelation of who Sandra was, and I said, you know what? That's almost like me and what I'm going through. So that helped me to slip right on in there. Yeah.
Was there any story in particular that you were able to relate to the most, or you feel like you could kind of relate to all the characters in the play? Was there any story in particular?
Absolutely. You know, in my time, I don't want to date myself, but domestic violence was so prevalent coming up as a small child, and watching my sisters have those experiences and neighbors have that experience. That was difficult. That was very difficult. And so I was real in touch with that. And then also the scene that you saw with Tamika and her son. That was a real heart-wrenching scene, because, you know, our children go through so many different things, but the one thing that we saw in this play, the one thread, was forgiveness and love in this. And you have to have that no matter what they're going through. You got to love them through it. Yeah.
Thank you. That was amazing. Well, we know we're going to see you again, because your act, girl, give us a little bit of that You Don't Know My Story, how you did at the beginning. Just give me 2 seconds. Give me just a little bit.
You don't know my story.
Yes, thank you. When you sang it, I was like, oh, I have to ask her to do that for me. Thank you so much. I was blessed. Thank you. All right, I am here with Miss Teresa, who played Felicia. Bye, Felicia. Yeah, from the stage play You Don't Know My Story. I'm going to say this over and over again. Every single time I interview one of the actors, the acting was phenomenal. She was a little seductive, so she played her role. Like, what did you do to like get into character for this role?
You know, I actually, I was very shy. I'm very shy, and that role is like really out of my character. And so I had to kind of figure out like, why is it making me shy? And then I pulled from Taraji. I watched Taraji as Cookie Lion, and I was like, you know what? I got to get that kind of spunk in me. You know what I mean? So that's where I got it from. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Gracious to me.
That is awesome. So I've been asking everybody who's watched it, like, what story like were you able to like resonate with the most? Is there a story? There's so many stories. Of course, we have our own stories. Was there any story in particular that you're like, that really ministered to me, even though you were part of the cast?
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna be transparent. My mother was on drugs, and so that part where her husband came in to anoint her and just pray over her and support her through her time. You know, I really wish my mom had that. She passed away in 2014, but that really resonated with me. You know what I'm saying? And that was a message that was just so powerful and touching to my heart. Yeah.
Thank you for being so transparent. Best of luck. You're going to see her again in some more stage plays. Y'all stay tuned. This is Teresa. She played Felicia. Say bye, Felicia. All right, we again are talking to all the actors for the stage play You Don't Know My Story. I am here with LaShawn, who played the role of Tamika. This girl had me crying because she was crying, and I keep saying this, these were real tears, not fake tears. Tell us a little bit about your character and what did you do to get prepared for this role?
Well, my character is Tamika, of course, and she has a very abusive brother, and so that's my first part. I try to help him, help his wife, because he's very abusive to her. And then the second part of it, I have a son who's very smart, very intelligent, straight A's, gets 2 scholarships to college, but he blows it all because he finds out he's gay and the students are messing with him. And so he decides to go into the Army. and it breaks my heart because as a single mom, you know, I've worked so hard to make sure that he was successful and just doing a really good job, and it just really breaks my heart. And so I'd say some harsh things to him, some really ugly things, and he ends up going into the Army, and I don't talk to him for a year. Actually, I don't talk to him anymore. I find out he's killed in the Army, so yeah.
You know, a lot of people, I kept asking the audience, like, what was your favorite part? Or which part were they able to relate to the most? They said your character, which I thought was interesting. I guess with the times that we're living in now, does that surprise you that, like, your character was, like, the character that a lot of people
It really doesn't, because you have so many people nowadays. I guess because it is so openly accepted now, being gay and homosexuality. It's open now. And everybody is just, it's not in the closet. Back in the day, it was in the closet, and now it's just open. So, and people of color, we have a problem dealing with it. So, yeah, I can see that being a major part.
Yeah. So tell me real quick before I let you go, what did you do to get into character? Because again, you had me crying, so you didn't answer this question. I need to know the tricks. What do I need to do to get actors to be able to bring out the emotion that you're able to bring out in the performance today?
I totally immersed myself in that character, and I said, wow, what if that was me in a real situation dealing with it, and it would break my heart. So that's how I was able to cry immediately and just get into character and feel very emotional because I put myself in that situation.
Well, you did an excellent job.
Thank you so much.
We're going to see you again, LaShawn, okay? Y'all look out for that.
Definitely.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Good job. Thank you.
All right, so I'm here with Miss Stacy, who also played Belinda in the stage play You Don't Know My Story. Tell me, Stacy, I kept saying this, I keep saying this over and over. The acting, every single actor brought it. I mean, like, brought it. And some of you, I'm gonna let you tell the people about your character because I don't want to spoil it. But your character, girl, was unrecognizable. That's my hint. So tell us a little bit about your character and what did you do to pull those emotions out?
Wow. Just actually coming within, because there are actually a lot of people who are going through that. I have family members who are going through drug addiction and stuff like that. I've had some people who passed behind that stuff. So just bringing in personal experiences kind of helped me a lot.
Okay, and outside of personal experiences, were there any like particular like actors that you look up to that kind of like, you know, Halle Berry played a cat kid one time?
Oh my gosh, yes. Lady Sings the Blues.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, yes. She did awesome on that movie. Oh my gosh, she was amazing.
Yeah, and you know, you had a really supportive husband. Like, what do you think about, you know, your counterpart, Mr. Mark Thomas, and in his role and how he was, you know, how he was able to like walk in forgiveness at the end? What do you think about that?
Oh man, that's amazing, because there's so many women who would love to have a husband like that. Oh my gosh, it would be amazing. That's all what we look for in a man. That's a dream husband.
Yes.
Yes, he was amazing.
Yeah.
Supportive, took me back even though I looked like crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, so tell me about that wardrobe though. How did you, the wardrobe and the hair, how did you transform like that? Whose idea was that?
Actually, it was kind of mine, but then one of our ladies that was helping us gave me another idea. I actually took my jacket and scrubbed it on cement to make it look rugged.
Wow.
So yeah, we were doing some stuff, rubbing it outside. I mean, we really tried to make it look rough.
Wow. Well, you were amazing. Good, excellent job. And we know we're going to be seeing a lot of you because you rocked the girl.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right. I'm here with Miss Javonda. Can you tell us a little bit about your character in the play?
Yes, my character was Lisa. I played an abusive wife where my husband was always beating on me. And then after he leaves, I become this very powerful woman who gets my life back, who believed that once that man left, after all the beatings, that I had to pull myself back together and get it all together. And I did through Christ. I was able to get myself together and become a powerful woman.
Yeah, you made an impact on a lot of those characters after that, after God kind of pulled you out of that. What did you do to get prepared for this play, for that character?
Wow, to get prepared for the abusive wife scene, I actually watched What Love Got to Do with Angela Bassett. When he was abusing me, I pulled from that character. Yeah, a lot.
And how did you actually get cast for the play? Do you know somebody? Did they see you? Because it sounds like they scattered a few of y'all. I was like, okay.
It was just a favor of God because I was working with someone on a campaign, a judge campaign, and then she said I had wrote a script for a little skit, and she said, "Do you act?" And I said, "Yeah." And then so that's when I went to the rehearsal, and Fran pulled me in.
Well, you did an excellent job.
Okay, thank you so much.
It was so impactful. So thank you so much for just lending us your skills.
Thank you, because I know there are so many abused women out there, and I wanted to make sure that I got that across.
And you did.
You don't have to stay in that kind of abusive relationship, because my character was in it for 25 years.
A long time.
And pulled all her self-esteem down. And that's what happens in real life, that women just stay and stay and stay because they believe in marriage. And that's why I stayed.
Well, thank God you got out.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thank you.
All right, I am here with Mrs. Cherry Thompson Scott. She played Lady Regina in the stage play You Don't Know My Story. Tell us a little bit about your character.
Well, you know, my character was the ex-wife of Pastor Tyrone, who was really down and out because of him leaving her for a 22-year-old, you know. And of course, Pastor Tyrone thought the grass was greener on the other side, but he had to learn a lesson. And so God dealt with him and brought him back to me. And so I'm thankful and I'm grateful. And that's really kind of how my character was, you know, to just really be that woman that shows everybody, you know, how even when you're going through and you may not know it, but some kind of way, if it's meant, God will bring that person back to you. Yeah.
Yes, and what who did you pull from? Was there an actor you pulled from to kind of bring out that Cicely Tyson, or who did you pull from? Because I was like, oh, look at Cicely up there.
Oh, Lord. You know what? It's so funny. I see so many different actors on TV, and I watch them all, watch whatever they do, Angela Bassett, and I watched a lot of different people, you know. Actually, I was looking at Waiting to Exhale the other day, and I was watching Angela Bassett and how sad she was when her husband did what he did. Yes. Same kind of scenario, you know? And so, you know, I just look at different ones and kind of gather how their character is and how they do. And that's kind of what I pull from, you know? And then just my own personal experiences and where God brought me from. Yeah.
Yes, well, you did excellent. I mean, the cast was amazing. How did you actually get cast for the play? I'm curious about that.
Lady Fran said she prayed and God began to show her each one of us for the part. When she was writing, she said God showed her us. And she approached us and asked us to consider it to be a part. And we went in for the cold read and, you know, and things just happened. God just allowed it to just work out so wonderful.
Look at God, yes. Yeah. Well, again, it was excellent. The acting was phenomenal.
Thank you.
And I know we're going to see it again. Yes. I hear y'all hopefully can get it back on somebody's road in another state because it was excellent.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, I am here with Wanda from the stage play You Don't Know My Story. So tell us, Miss Wanda, about your character, because your character she was funny. She was one of them church-going funny characters. Tell us a little bit about your character.
Well, Mother Davis is the church mother, but her character, she had a life prior to coming to know Christ, and she was really a character. And in doing that, in order for me to do it effectively, I had to get out of me and take on the character that I was portraying. And in acting, I struggled in the beginning because I tried to do it and I couldn't do it because that wasn't who I am. So I had to get out of me, get out of the way, and allow God to minister through me that I could reach and impact other people that sometimes may have felt guilty about their past life, because everyone has a past life. Though you may not have done what you saw someone else do, you've done something, because the word says all have sinned and come short.
Mm-hmm. Amen. Tell us how, and I've asked every actor this, how did you get cast for this part?
The best way I can say it is God. When Lady Fran gave me the script, she said that she prayed, and God told her who to get for each individual character. And when she brought it to me, I'm like, what? I can't do that, because the part that when Mother Davis was in her younger days, she was a brick house.
Yes.
That was so not me. And so,
But you had some moves though, so they came from somewhere.
came from getting out of me and allowing God to come through me. So when I got out of self and allowed God to do what he wanted to do, we nailed it.
You did nail it. I mean, the director gave y'all so much praise for the performance y'all gave tonight. She went over the fact that y'all have phone reads, rehearsals at the house. So she had there was difficulty with blocking, and so she had to explain when you got on stage, this is what it looks like, and y'all came out here and y'all really executed. So congratulations, excellent job. You made me laugh. I'm just gonna say that. All right, thank you, Ms. Wanda.
We'll get an encore. You all come. If you miss this one, don't miss the next one.
All right, I am here with Mr. Tommy. Hey, Tommy. So tell us a little bit about Big C the Encourager gave you a little plug over there. He said this was your first time acting. So tell us a little bit about why you even signed up to do this play.
Well, first I really did it because Lady Friend's husband, which passed away, Brother Al, he actually gave me an opportunity. I'm actually a real waiter. I do wait on people as a restaurant job. I'm not a blue collar worker. I make a decent living off of it. We ain't for that. But I waited on them, and they liked my personality. So they asked me, "Have you ever acted before?" And the first thing I told them was, "Yeah, I've acted a fool before." And that basically gave them that good charm. But they was like, "Well, this is my number. Give me a call. I got a role for you." They really started me off as a waiter, and that's all I was supposed to be in the play. But Lady Friend had gave me a bigger opportunity to do a little bit more. So I really appreciate her for that, and I owe her.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit about your character, because your character, I wanted to come on that stage and kind of do something ungodly, but I stayed in the pit because that's where I belong. But tell us about your character and what did you do to draw out those emotions for the character?
Well, I appreciate you for not getting out of that pit, but first thing I did was watch Lawrence Fishburne on What's Love Got to Do With It. Yep. That was one of my biggest inspirations as far as being abusive. Another one was just watching a whole bunch of videos, trying to do a lot of research on how to be abusive, because I'm not an abusive person. I can get angry, but I'm not an abusive person. I'm not going to put my hands on any woman. I'm not gonna, sit there and be forceful. My wife will tell you she run over me all the time, so it's not nothing that not really like that, but it's not something that I do. So I just have to go around looking up abusive videos to get that inspiration, and from there, just get a little elevated, start thinking, well, what I do if I get mad on this situation, and what be something that'll get me in jail, basically.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, Lawrence did the trick, because Lawrence pulled out that abusiveness in you. I tell you. Eat the cake. So last thing I want to say is what are you taking away from this play? Because your storyline kind of ended with forgiveness. Well, actually apologies. You have to apologize and ask for forgiveness. Yeah. So what did you think about the ending and how your story ended?
My ending, I think, was pretty good. I wish it had a little bit more detail as far as, saying my steps that I had to take in order to get to where I was at the end of the play. But what I take from the play, though, overall is the experience, the atmosphere, and the way that I looked at it at the end of it all. If we had one person in the crowd or 1 million people in the crowd, as long as I get a message delivered, it could be somebody out there facing that same story. I want them to go home and let them know that God's got them and everything's going to be all right. You got to just pray for it. My story, myself personally, I ended up going through a lot just to get out here to Dallas. I ended up being out here homeless, came out here with my family. Said I never work in restaurants, and I actually did start working in a restaurant. Ended up losing that job, got thrown over to another job, got myself in trouble at that job, and was like, I'm not finna do this no more. The first day that I came back to that job was when I met Lady Friend. So, God works in mysterious ways, and I really do appreciate him, appreciate Lady Friend for everything they've done for me.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Tommy, for talking to us today, brother. Keep your head up. All right, so we are here. We just finished watching the stage play, You Don't Know My Story. I am here with Big C, the Encourager. Tell us a little bit about your character. And let me tell you, your character was really funny. I'm going to go ahead and put that out there. But tell us a little bit about your character and what did you do to get into character? Who inspired you to come out the way you were coming out in your character?
Well, my character basically is Pastor Tyrone, and for those that got a chance to see the production, he needed help from the beginning. But basically, at heart, he was a good man, but he just made some bad decisions. Sometimes that's what happens. We make bad decisions, bad choices, and we can find ourselves anywhere in any situation. But then, just like the prodigal son, God spoke to him and told him to go back home. And that's what he did, not knowing the outcome, but by faith, that's what he had to do. This is what we have to do. We have to walk by faith and not by sight. Sometimes even when we made mistakes, God will give us another opportunity to go back and fix things in a way of saying. So that's what my character was about tonight. Yeah.
A lot of people liked your story because of the forgiveness aspect of it. Everyone kept saying, I can relate to that because, I had to forgive my husband, I had to forgive my wife. So what does forgiveness mean to you? Like, how did the forgiveness part of that resonate with you today?
Forgiveness is like washing. It's a cleansing. And a lot of times we have to forgive in order to be free. A lot of people have things happen to them, and there are people that have died. And there people are controlling people from the grave because they're still mad, they're still angry, because they're still harboring things in their heart. But we learn that forgiveness is of God's heart. He gives us the opportunity to do that. So what this does for us, it allows us to be free where we can have an open ear to God to carry out his marching orders. And to go back to your part of the other question, you'd asked me, what did I do to develop that character? Basically, to develop that character, I'm just crazy anyway. I love to have fun. And a lot of things that I was doing is just spontaneous. Yeah. So, whatever role I have, I feel like God just give me the ability to do it.
Yeah, I feel like some of that wasn't scripted. I was like, ooh.
Oh, a whole lot of it wasn't. Yeah, a whole lot of it wasn't.
See the ashiness, the clothes, the wardrobe coming out, and
all that's original. All that's my own creation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can tell. Very creative. Again, phenomenal acting in this production. So funny, but yet told a phenomenal story about forgiveness. So thank you, Big C.
The character that I was singing with, that's actually my wife, for real. Yeah, we've
good to know.
been married almost 20 years.
Oh yes. Okay.
Yeah. So we sing. We have music out. Mm-hmm. My son was the music producer. Just so I say, he was a music director tonight, and he's produced a lot of our records and things that we do.
Okay. Well, let me tell you, those songs had me crying. I said this is probably my third time saying this, but I was recording, but I was also like wiping a few tears, like, oh, don't let them fall. But yeah, I was definitely blessed.
Amen. Well, we appreciate you guys and what you guys are doing with the video production, and we definitely look forward to seeing you guys again as we move this production. And we just having fun. Yeah. Just having fun. Had a great cast, some great people, like my man Tommy right here. First time acting, when we did it last year, and then second time tonight. Phenomenal actor in his own right. Great man, great father. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today. Yes, I was blessed. Stay blessed. You too.
Yeah, I was going to put in a shameless plug for my show. Be sure you listen to Urban Gospel Sounds radio show with your boy Big C, the Encourager. We're right now currently on 7 stations nationwide. You can look us up on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of them again. That's Big C, the Encourager, Urban Gospel Sounds radio show. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you. Yes, thank you, brother. All right, we are here. We just saw the stage play. You Don't Know My Story. I am here with the phenomenal director, Miss Tasha Thomas, and her husband, Mark Thomas, who was also in the play. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Miss Tasha, tell us what was the process for directing this play? Like, what tools and resources did you use to get out everything that you were able to get out from these actors?
Okay, so first is I pulled from the story of the writer. Not the story that she wrote, but the actual story of the writer. She, in the process of birthing out this process with the story, she lost her husband, and then shortly after that, her daughter passed away. So when I found out that she was still willing to tell her story, to get this out there, I could not help myself but to grab it and run with it. So my process has been what it's always been. I read it, I digest it, and then whatever I see it can be, I open up and execute it. So yeah, on the shell there were certain stories, and then there were stories that wasn't in the script originally that I went to her and said, we need to open it up a little bit more. We need to make the storyline match up and flow better. So once I started seeing how the flow was going to go, that's when I was able to then say, this is what this character looks like, this is what this person should be like. He should be a good man who loves his family and don't want to really do this to her, but she made the choice. And so that's the reason he ended up being a good guy, because we had Raymond, who was a bad guy. And we often will show men in a bad light without actually showing that there's some good men out there that will stick with you through thick and thin, and also show women that look how busted and disgusted she was. But there was a man who still loved her just like that. That's what I saw with Belinda, a man that was going to take her as she was, just like God does. So when we started developing the characters in my mind based on what me and Miss Fran talked about, I said, okay, I see what you want. And then that's just how I just did it. I can't even really explain the process because it's just something that comes naturally for me. I see it on paper, but then I see the visual effect of it, and I'm like, oh no, we got to go deeper with that. We got to add music here. We have to add spotlight here. So then I start to develop the entire thing. She give me the shell. I put in where they enter, where they exit, where the spotlight should be, where the light should go down at, where they should go up, where there should be music at. It's just to make it sing to people, to make it really drive home and touch the heart of people. Because if you could get to their heart, you can create change. Because before they could change in their mind, you have to get at that stoniness that may have hardened them up. So when I saw that, I said, people need to see that it's okay to show your scars.
That's right.
That's it. That's it in a nutshell. It's okay. But I've been doing it for a long time.
She's from New York, y'all. She's from New York.
From New York, but I moved up here from the DMV, which is the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, and we did it for 20 years at my church back home. And I always wanted to go even further. We did other little things, but I wanted to go further. And we wrote so many great things, but we never really took it nowhere. We never took it on the road. We never did any of those things. So shout out to Bishop and Pastor Deborah Dukes of Woodbridge, Virginia, because that's where it all started for us. Where we started, we was given an opportunity to shine, and we did. And him and I often directed together. It wasn't just me. He actually started out first, and then I got pulled in, and then I just ran with it, and then he went acting, and they just left me just running the show, and I thrive off of it.
Yes, you're definitely operating your gift for sure. And you too, sir. Mr. Mark Thomas is his husband. Tell us a little bit about your character. And I'm gonna say this because I've said this to all the actors. The acting was phenomenal. I was recording, but I was also
That was a task, because what y'all saw was not what we went through at all. Now we were rehearsing in a house. So to try to be blocking stuff and we're in a home, that was pretty like, you have to have the vision to say there's a larger stage. So throughout the whole thing, I was telling them that, remember guys, don't limit yourself to just this small space. When we finally get where we're going, you got so much room, so different. And so, no, it was hard. We had rehearsals. We had phone rehearsals. We had, I did it by scene instead of everybody meeting at the same time so that we can really work the characters, and that helped them a lot. Instead of meeting all the time together, we just went scene by scene, and they showed up and showed out eventually.
Well, you giving those
their nerves, but yeah, I did. I got on their nerves, but I was real bad with him. He
don't get a break because he's the husband.
No, I don't get a break at all.
They was looking like, oh,
we home, riding home in the car.
I was like, you didn't give enough. I need to really feel like you loved her ratchet looking like that. No matter what happened, that you loved her anyway. Because women get off on that type of stuff. To know that a man, we do so much to prim and prop ourselves for a man to even show us any kind of attention when God gives us all that we need. So then when he sends you someone that love you just as you are, that's like, you don't know my story, but would you still love me if you did?
Right.
Yes. I love that.
I exit stage left. Okay. It's on you.
It's on you. All right.
Okay.
I was going to say, she took all my questions. I didn't have no more questions because she answered every last one of them.
Yes,
so tell us a little bit about your character and what did you do to get into character outside of taking the feedback from Miss Tasha Thomas?
Okay. Well, it was a character that developed over time. Originally, one of the castmates that was in the play, that's one of the brothers that passed as well. So that's how I actually got into the play. And I took bits and pieces from instructions from what the other castmates said and figured, well, how is this character supposed to be? Lady Fran talked to me. Then, of course, I spoke to my wife, and I was like, I'm not sure if this is really the way it's supposed to look like. So we worked at it and developed it to where it became now. Because Tony was a little bit low-key from the beginning until now. So it's just really, really thinking about would I really take this woman back and how much do I love her? So I just kind of put my wife in that position and saying, would I take her back? How much do I love her? And that's what I drew from to even get to that point.
You had me crying on that scene too. I was like trying to record, I was wiping my tears. So again, the acting was phenomenal. Thank you for all the hard work you put in this with you and your wife and the sacrifices y'all have made. You don't know my story.
You don't know my story. Love y'all.
We just finished watching the stage play, You Don't Know My Story. I am here with Mrs. Francile McCottry. Yes, and her beautiful family. She is the writer and the producer.
Latrice, Jason, and Johnny.
All right, so tell us a little bit about this story. How did you write? Where did you come from? What zone were you in to be able to write a story like this?
God gave me this story 3 years ago, and I just put it in my drawer and didn't do anything with it. And he told me to get it out again. I said, okay, what am I supposed to do with it? So I didn't have a cast. I didn't have the money. I tell everybody, follow your dream. Just go to God, and He'll provide everything you need. So I said, okay, God, I'll make a deal with you. If you want me to do this story, you need to give me the money and give me the cast. How about He did everything? So it just came from the heart. In our society today, we have so much going on, and I based the script off of the issues that we're going on now with family issues and drugs, domestic violence, and etc. So that's where it came from.
Yeah. Well, God is good. So tell us, I've been asking all of everybody who's seen it, like, was there, obviously you are the writer, so you were able to relate to any story. Was there a story that was your favorite? Because a lot of people really, really liked them all, but they were able to relate a lot to the story with Tamika and her son. So everybody could bring that up. So like, what story do you think kind of set the tone of the play?
I think the forgiving that the pastor and his wife had, because I went through that. I went to a place where my husband, walked out on me, and I forgave him because God told me to do so. So that resonated with me a whole lot. But everything else, I've been through the domestic violence and all that, but that really resonated with me, the forgiving heart of the First Lady.
Yes. How did you find all these actors? I mean, they were so incredible, funny. I mean, just so impactful, crying. I mean, like, these actors had real tears, okay? They didn't have to put nothing in their eyes. They had real tears.
Most of my actors, I only had 3 that were professional, had ever acted before. The others, it's like I'm in church and the Holy Spirit said, choose this person, and choose that person. And some of them didn't have the confidence. Lady Fran, we can't do that. I said, oh, yes, you can, because the Holy Spirit told me to choose you. And if He told me to choose you, it can't be wrong. And we just worked with them and director Tasha Thomas and Mark Thomas, like I say, God sent them from New York to help direct the play. So I just was led by the Holy Spirit to choose each person.
Well, you did an awesome job. Family, what do y'all say about Mom? What do y'all think about all this?
Proud of her. She's awesome. We've been through rain, we've been through the storm, and I'm just very proud of her. I mean, she's been working on it for many years, and I thank God that she was able to put it out.
I see you a little emotional too. Is that just because you're just proud, just living in the moment right now?
It's both. Again,
we lost so much. I lost my husband April the 10th, and we lost my daughter, her sister, in
September the same year,
the 19th. So
yeah, it is a moment.
They're not here, but I know they're in spirit here with us. Yeah.
Amen. What about you?
Yeah, I feel like it was enticing, intriguing, well directed, well written. Everything about it is what people go through on a daily basis. So it was a story that was pretty much a story for everybody.
What about you in the back?
They've said it all.
They said it all. Well, you've seen it. This is the writer and producer, Ms. Francile McCottry. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I was blessed.
Thank you.
Ooh, I was almost in tears myself. Ooh.